Welcome to the Brain Alpha. All right, today we're going to tear down one of the biggest myths in the modern workplace. This whole idea that to be successful, you have to be busy all the time. We're going to explore this really counterintuitive secret that the absolute top performers use to get incredible results. And get this, it's not by doing more, but by strategically doing less. So let me ask you a question, and be honest. Do you ever get to the end of a super long day, you're just completely drained, and you look back and think, wait, what did I actually get done? You know that feeling, right? It's this trap of being busy just for the sake of being busy. But here's the thing. The world's highest achievers, they figured out the difference. And it literally changes everything. You know, we've all been sold this bill of goods, what I call the great productivity lie. It's basically the gospel of hustle culture, right? Grind 24/7, sleep when you're dead, optimize every single second of your day. But what if that whole philosophy isn't just wrong? What if it's the very thing that's holding you back from your best work? Well, the reality is, it's the complete opposite of that hustle myth. Just take a look at the daily routines of people like Jeff Bezos, Serena Williams, and Warren Buffett. What do you see? There's no nonstop frantic activity. Not at all. Instead, what you see is intentional space. Bezos has his slow mornings. Serena literally builds recovery into her schedule. And Buffett, he carves out these huge blocks of time just for deep reading. They aren't just busy, they're incredibly deliberate. And this brings us to a really core concept. And honestly, the founder of Amazon illustrates it perfectly. He has this thing he calls puttering. Yeah, puttering. And it might just be one of the most powerful productivity tools you've never even heard of. Okay, so what on earth is puttering? Let's be clear, it is not about being lazy. Far from it. It's really the antidote to rushing. It's all about easing into your day with these unstructured, low-pressure activities. You know, like actually reading the newspaper, slowly sipping your coffee, or just thinking. It's about giving your brain the room it needs to wake up without that immediate slap in the face from 1,000 emails and notifications. And look, this isn't just something we're observing from the outside. Bezos has said it himself, flat out. He values this time. He gets that by not jumping straight into the chaos of the day, he's protecting his single most valuable resource for later, his mental energy, his ability to make good decisions. And his morning routine illustrates this strategy perfectly. He wakes up naturally, no alarm, and then he putters. And it's phone-free time, by the way. He's having coffee, maybe breakfast with his family. Now notice this, his first big high-stakes meeting, it's not until 10 a.m. He's saving his peak brain power for what he calls high IQ decisions. Then, come 5 p.m., he completely shuts down any major decision-making. Why? So simple. He knows that tired decisions are bad decisions. He's managing his energy, not his clock. That's the key. So, the big question is, why does this actually work? Is it just some weird quirk of a billionaire? Nope. It is deeply rooted in neuroscience. So let's actually dive in and look at what's happening inside your brain when you let yourself have some downtime. All right, here's the absolute key. When your mind feels like it's idle, it's not. It's actually performing critical maintenance. See, we've been trained to think that any moment we're not actively doing a task is wasted time. But neuroscience is showing us that this so-called unproductive time is exactly when our brains are doing some of their most important work, consolidating memories, connecting ideas, and recharging for the deep focus we need later. So when you let your mind wander, you are not just relaxing, you're lighting up these key neural networks. For one, you're lowering cortisol. That's the stress hormone that just fogs up your thinking. You're also recharging your prefrontal cortex. Think of that as the CEO of your brain, the part in charge of focus and big decisions. And maybe most importantly, this is where creative breakthroughs come from. It's when your brain finally gets to connect ideas that it never could while you were staring laser-focused at a spreadsheet. And at the very heart of all this is something called the default mode network, or DMN for short. The best way to think about it is like your brain's background processor. It just switches on the moment you stop focusing on something in the outside world. You ever have one of those genius ideas in the shower? Yep, that was your DMN, finally getting the quiet space it needed to connect the dots. Puttering, really, is just a scheduled appointment with your DMN. So this internal process, this whole idea of your brain recharging itself, well, that's what makes the external strategies of the most successful people possible. It's this common thread you see running through the playbook of pretty much all the world's top performers. I mean, take Warren Buffett's famous 5-25 rule. It is an absolute masterclass in focus. Here's how it works. Step 1, you list out your top 25 career goals. Step 2, You circle the 5 that are the most important. But here is the critical part. Step 3. The other 20 goals, they don't just become your B list. They become your avoid at all costs list. For Buffett, success isn't about what you do, it's about what you have the discipline to not do. And that idea leads us right to the myth of multitasking. We all do it, right? We think we're being super efficient, but what's really happening is we're just bleeding focus and energy every single time we switch tasks. High achievers get this. They practice single tasking. Now, it might feel slower in the moment, but it's what allows for that deep, high-quality work that produces real results. It's that classic idea. You have to slow down to speed up. So when you kind of zoom out from all these examples, a really clear set of rules starts to emerge. These are the unspoken rules top performers live by. They guard that first hour of the day like it's sacred, no phones. They structure their day with intention, otherwise distractions will structure it for them. They move their bodies to keep their minds sharp, and this one is so important. They treat recovery and downtime not as a luxury, but as a critical, non-negotiable part of the job. They protect their attention like it's cash. And this all boils down to one final, really powerful idea. See, for years, we've all been taught to manage our time, right? To cram more and more into every single hour. But the real secret, the secret of the elite, is that they've stopped managing their time. They manage something else entirely. Check this out. A study from McKinsey found that executives who are in a state of flow, that deep, fully immersed state of focus, are 500% more productive than normal. 500%. You just can't get that kind of leap by managing your calendar a little better. You can only get there by managing your energy. And that right there is the most important principle of all. This is the entire game. Stop trying to optimize every single minute of your day. It is an impossible, burnout-inducing trap. Instead, the goal is to protect and maximize your mental and physical energy for the minutes that actually matter, so that when it's time for your 10 a.m. high IQ meeting, you are at your absolute peak. So that leaves us with one final question for you. I want you to really think about this. Forget about adding another productive habit to your list. Based on everything we've talked about, what's one seemingly unproductive habit you could add to your day? I'm talking about puttering or taking a walk without a podcast or even just staring out the window for 5 minutes. What's one thing you could do that would actually make you sharper, more creative, and in the end, way more effective? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and help us build the hype. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.